Hey, it's Untitled Software. Today, let me talk about some more technical things. The front end of the application that I'm working on is Redux and React. And while my skills of the React part, I think they're improving, with Redux I still have some places where I'm not sure about. So with React.js is a very simple library to create your view components, and it creates a virtual DOM. So when you update the components with new data, then it's a very efficient algorithm under the hood to replace the document object model with the node that you want to replace. With Redux, if you go with Redux, then Redux is for managing the state. It's for managing the data that will be given to the React component. So Redux, it's nothing about views. It's basically kind of pure logic to manage data. And the requests to change something, they come from the view. So the component usually has some kind of access to some kind of callback, or if you're using some kind of patterns from Redux like map dispatch to props or map state to props, then you use something like the connect function and wrap it with the provider. Then you have a whole ecosystem infrastructure for automatically talking to the application, to the Redux application, as you can say. And our Redux application consists of several things. One of them is reducers. Reducer takes an action and returns a state after applying this action. And it's quite a pattern. This is what I want to talk about. That people have problems with combining Ajax into this ecosystem, and I definitely have been struggling with it. I'm still not sure I get it right, but today and yesterday my friends have explained to me how it works, and in a nice way. So basically, when you dispatch a new action to the reducer, to the Redux store, then you have one phase which is basically returning the action. So it's called action creator, and you have two possibilities here. One is to just return the action object, which is usually just a simple object with a field called type, and that's all, maybe some additional data. But you can also return a function here, which makes it more complicated if you're not used to thinking in functions so much. But let me start by saying that if you have a working React component and then you have a Redux store which works for you, but you still have no Ajax calls needed, then all is good. After you need to call some Ajax. For example, you have a very simple table where you add new rows, and after adding new row, you can change the front-end state and all is displayed very well. But you also need to call the backend, right? So this is where we need Ajax. And assuming that the backend works 99% of the time, you might be tempted to put the Ajax call inside the reducer and then return the new state as if everything happens fine. But we need to remember that reducers are sync. They're not waiting for any result. And if you call an Ajax call, then it's all async, right? So the Ajax could actually fail, which means you should not display the new row in the table. And if you do display this, then this is wrong. And so now you have to deal with the problem of two different patterns, whether it worked or not. And my problem was actually not with adding, but it was always deleting. So there was some logic of selecting an item in the table and then clicking delete, and deleting now can fail more often than previously. So we need to handle this case better than previously. And previously we just were returning the state without the currently selected row. So now instead of so this is not part of the reducer's job to handle this. It's somewhere else. So now in the reducer, you actually need to have two different actions. One of them could be something like confirm item deletion or cancel item deletion or failure item deletion, and then return the state with or without the selected item. But the job of where the Ajax is taking, this is now in the action creator. In the action creator, you now don't return just a simple type. You are now making the Ajax call. And assuming you're using promises, for example, you can, when you get the result and if everything works fine, you dispatch a new action here. So this is where you you use the dispatching here. You dispatch the successful action. But if it failed, if the backend returns something wrong, then you dispatch the failure action. And that's how you solve the problem of connecting backend calls to the Redux and React ecosystem. This is what I learned. Hopefully it was clear to understand via just the voice without showing the screen and the code here. But I learned a lot by this. I learned a lot by implementing this today, and I think that was like a little step forward in my understanding of how Redux can work with React. And thanks for listening.